Hi everyone, it's Coach Cronk from Enduraprep here. I'm going to do some videos for you with a bit of an overview of the IRONMAN Wales bike course. Okay, so these videos are going to be really sort of aimed at people who are doing IRONMAN Wales for the first time, possibly doing Ironman for the first time. But if you've done it before, then there could also be some tips in there that could be helpful. So today, I'm going to talk to you about the first 60 kilometers of the course, which is a section of the course that most of it you just ride once. We'll break the course up into two sections really, or two loops. So you've got the outer loop, as we call it, which is the full course as you can see it here on the map. But then you do this loop back to Tenby, and then you repeat that, what we call the inner loop. So it's one lap of the outer loop plus an extra lap of the inner loop. So today I'm going to talk about the section sort of out to Angle and back to just after Pembroke to Lamphey, where you begin the section of the course that you do twice, where you do the hilly loop. So from Tenby, we head out west to Pembroke and then out to Castle Martin and past Freshwater West onto Angle, where the first feed station is, back to Pembroke. Just after Pembroke is where you hit 60 kilometers and you join the inner loop, the hilly loop, which you do twice. Notice I've said hilly loop there because the first 60 kilometers is actually the flattest part of the course. And yeah, that's the section that you only sort of mostly only ride once. So let's go back to the footage. After leaving Tenby, it's kind of flat-ish, open roads, a little bit rolling. You want to just kind of get into a rhythm, don't push too hard, and kind of start thinking about taking on some fueling and some nutrition and some hydration post-swim. What you might find with this section of the course is if it's a windy day, you'll likely be into a headwind here. I'd show you. Usually the wind will come from the southwest. So heading west, you might find that you're into the wind. Now, that's not actually such a bad thing, because if we look at the course here, although we'd be into the wind sort of from Tenby to Freshwater West and to Angle, then you'd actually have a tailwind or a sort of cross tailwind for a bigger section of the course, as you'd only be riding that section once, but you would have a cross tailwind here, which would be really helpful, and you get that section again. And then actually this section after Narberth is kind of more sheltered, narrower roads, sort of higher hedges, more sheltered from any wind here, where you can actually benefit from a bit of a wind from the west or southwest going this way. Let's look at the sort of major features of this first section of the course. So as I said, yeah, not too much in the way of hills, just kind of flattish roads, a little bit rolling all the way to Pembroke. Then once we get to Pembroke, I'll skip to that now. You get your first climb. So you come into Pembroke and you take a left at that roundabout. You drop down a bit, swoop round to the right, and then take a left turn. This is the first sort of noticeable climb on the course. It'll be, if you're riding a TT bike or you've got TT bars, you'll be spending a lot of time in the aero position until this point. This might be the first point in the course where you have a chance to sit up out of position. I find this climb quite dead. The road's quite coarse. It feels like a bit of a drag. It's quite open, but you'll still be feeling very fresh at this point. So bear that in mind. Do not push too hard. If you stick to your game plan, don't go over your target heart rate or RPE or watts, you might well find that people overtake you on this climb. Don't get caught up in sort of racing people early on. Stick to your target, then crest this climb, get back into your rhythm, and on you go. After that, the next bit, which I think is worth mentioning is as we go towards Castle Martin and we pass the military base there, it's just here. Now, this road, it doesn't look like much, but it is sort of gradually up until you go past the military base. And what you find is actually if there is a strong headwind, you will really feel it at this point. And with the sign of slight upward gradient and the road sort of being dead straight as well, it just feels like it goes on a little bit. Again, don't push too hard here, okay? It's not steep enough to have to get out of your aero position, so just stay nice and low in a nice rhythm and just get past the military base, and then the road switches up a little bit. I'll just take you past so you can see there's the sort of military base here. It still just keeps kind of dragging up a bit in a dead straight line. Let's just show you on here. That's sort of this bit here. Nope, sorry, this bit here. This sort of drag here. It looks like nothing on the map, but it does just feel like a bit of a bit of a drag on the day. That's probably worth mentioning. After that, a little bit of a climb up, and then we'll drop down to Freshwater West, which is our kind of next part of the course, which is definitely worth highlighting in this video. Let me just jump to that. It is there. Okay, coming up soon. So through the lanes here, and then it flattens out a little bit, and then you'll kind of gradually start dropping down a bit towards the coast, and then you'll start quite a steep descent down to Freshwater West. That sign there, that might just be telling you how far to the feed station, but it could also be telling you about this descent possibly. Maybe also, if it is windy on the day or it's wet, you'll need to be careful on this descent. Okay, it's quite a quick one. If the wind's coming across the road or it's gusty, yeah, you'll just have to be super careful because you will be going quite fast down this descent. I really hope that you get these conditions on the day as well. This footage is absolutely stunning, and you're about to see probably the most beautiful part of the course and one of the most beautiful places in Pembrokeshire. So you start your descent now, and it kind of just gets steeper as you drop down to the beach. Here we go. You can see the footage speeding up. So you've got some caution signs because of the descent, but also there's more caution signs coming up. As it flattens out just past the beach, you'll go between some sand dunes. Now, very often there's a buildup of sand on the road between the sand dunes. They'll definitely make an effort to clear this up on the day, but that we can't guarantee that absolutely see these signs here, slow, caution, caution, caution. This is all because right here, these couple of patches here, you often get sand across the road. You can see already they've made an effort to clear it on race day, but just bear in mind there could be some. And if you're going down to do a recce as well, just be careful. If there is sand there, just slow down, warn others around you. Just make sure you look around you before you swing across the road to dodge any as well. Just keep each other safe. Okay, then we start what is definitely a noticeable climb. The climb out of Freshwater West. It's not that long, but it's really steep. You will really need to keep your effort under control here. You might need to use sort of a combination of in and out of the saddle. You don't want huge spikes in heart rate or power, and you'll still be feeling quite fresh. Okay, so your sort of target effort or power for the duration of the course should be feeling quite easy still at this point. Yeah, sort of bear that in mind. Don't go over your targets. You don't want to be cresting this hill with significant burning in the legs at all. You want to try and crest this climb and then just be able to just change your gears, get back into your rhythm and be on your way. That was the cameraman there. They will be taking photos on the day. So remember that. Remember to smile. You'll get a lovely picture with the sea in the background. Now, We take a left here. Bear in mind this section of the course on the way to Angle, where the feed station is. I'll just show it to you again on here. It's this bit here. There's two-way traffic, okay? It's not that wide, that road. There'll be plenty of signs warning you, but just make sure you keep checking you're not riding completely head down and you're staying on the right side of the road, because there will be riders coming in both directions. So stay safe there. Then on we go, where we drop down into Angle. You'll start a bit of a descent into the village. And this is where the first feed station will be. So if you're new to racing Ironman events, you might be unaware of how feed stations work on the bike. Now, if you want to, you can get through a feed station without having to stop. There'll be a line of volunteers, and each few volunteers will have a different item that's available on the course. So you might have a few people holding up half bananas, a few people holding bars, some people holding bottles, and they'll be shouting out what they've got as well. So if you want to grab what you need on the go, you can also discard anything you need to. So there'll be a drop zone as well, which will be clearly marked. So you can discard empty bottles, rubbish, and then approach the feed and you can grab what you need from these volunteers. So if you don't want to stop, what you want to do is make eye contact with the person that you want to grab something from and maybe point at them, shout you, make sure they know that you're going to come past with one and reach out with one hand and grab whatever it is that they've got. If you need to stop, you can absolutely stop and do everything you need to. If you feel you don't want to risk trying to grab things one-handed. Accidents do happen at feed stations, so just be careful. Look around you before you make any maneuvers across the road, etc. They'll also have portaloos there, so if you need to do a proper stop, comfort break, etc., you can do that at the feed station. So you come down into Angle here, take this right turn, and then just towards the end of this village, the feed station will be on the left. Just make sure you listen up in the briefing to rules around drop zones and dropping litter, etc. Don't just take my word for it and throw things out at a feed station. Just check in case rules have changed. I don't want to be blamed for people getting DQ'd. So after the feed station, you've got this little climb out of Angle here. Again, sort of good opportunity to sit up and spin your way up this climb and kind of take on any nutrition that you've just picked up. Once we get to the top of this climb and we take the left and head back to Pembroke, if you've been riding into headwind, this is the first point that you'll benefit from a tailwind and you will really notice it. And I'll just show you again. On the map, where we are, it's going to be, you've come up out of Angle, look, finish that climb there, and you've got this sort of flat-ish rolling section of roads all the way back to Pembroke, and then the drop back down into Pembroke. It will be nice and quick here. If there's no wind or a tailwind, this will be a nice fast section for you here back to Pembroke. And then you'll drop down into Pembroke, which we'll just take a quick look at now. It kind of starts off with the narrower lanes, still this section with two-way traffic. And then it just opens up more and more until you get onto the wider road here, all the way back to Pembroke. As you can see, nice and open, nice and quick. Then we'll just jump on to dropping down into Pembroke again. We've dropped down into Pembroke, done the opposite of the first little climb you did. Got this little climb up into the town now, but we're going to do an out and back in the town. So you originally came from the right there, but we're going to just do an out and back here where we go into the town. Just bear in mind again, there's going to be riders coming towards you. One thing just to add here is you do kind of go pretty quick along this street, and then you just got a dead end turn. Just slow right down, take the turn nice and wide, take your time. This is a little place that can catch people out. Accidents can happen here, particularly if it's wet. You don't want like a silly little mistake trying to take a turn too quickly or too tight. You don't want something like that to ruin your day. Back through the town, and then again, it's the opposite of the road that you came out towards Pembroke on, which is nice and flat and fast, back to Lamphey, where you will take a left and start the hilly loop, which we will discuss in another video. So you kind of just after Pembroke, coming back along here, 60 kilometers in, that's where we start this loop here. I think we'll leave it there. Otherwise, I'll wait for the next video, and I just hope that your preparation is going well. I hope you enjoyed the IRONMAN Wales bike videos. Just a quick disclaimer, those bike videos were recorded in 2024. Things can change, feed station locations, logistics and rules around the bike course, so please keep up to date with the race guide. Also, I have in my Training Peaks plan store 2 IRONMAN Wales specific training plans. I have a 30-week plan for the first time IRONMAN Wales athlete, potentially first time Ironman athlete. And I also have a 26-week plan for the more competitive athlete who is perhaps chasing a PB at IRONMAN Wales or looking to do well amongst their age group. I will put links to those plans down below. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, Coach Cronk at enduraprep.com, or drop a comment down below and I will get back to you.